Alright guys, so the last method I want to add to this little class is just a method to print out the database as a string, just so we have something to display for this example. And this isn't even really part of the tutorial. I just want to do this real quick. So we'll say print out the database as a string. Alright, so public string database to string sounds like a good name for it. And what is this? Give me. That is because I named it products. Alright, so that was annoying me. Alright, so anyways, to print out the database as a string, we probably need a variable to save it in. Again, I'm just going to do this real quick, so try to explain everything though. Alright, now we need a reference to the database. And how about that reference? Looks good. Alright, now we need a query to query the entire database. So string query, set this equal to select all from, why are you not in where you're supposed to be? Select all from the table, and the table is table products, where pretty good. Might as well just copy that whole thing. Alright, so the query to select all the data is select star. This means everything from this table, where one also means every condition is met. So this means select every column, and this means select every row. Alright, so now that we have a query, again, this tutorial doesn't really deal with cursors or anything, but just so I don't leave you guys hanging, a cursor is going to point to a location in your results. So just think of it like a pointer, where if this was the first row, then it would point to here. If it was the second row, it would point to here. It's just so Android can manage where you are in your results and what you want to print out and everything like that. And the object for that is C. And if you just call db raw query, then you can pass your query in null. So now we have a pointer, and to move it to the very first location, move to the first row in. Again, so this is a cursor, and the results that it is pointing to is the results of this query. And to move it to the very beginning, we just call move to first on it. Not really important, but you know. Now what I want to do is I want to say while not C dot is after last, and I'll explain this in just a second, guys. So get string, and in the parameter here, get column index, and the index is product name, and make sure that this is not equal no. Alright, so what this is pretty much saying is the C, which is your cursor, is after last. You want to make sure that it's not positioned after the last row. This is essentially saying make sure that you still have some results to go. When you're done parsing through all of the results, of course, I guess we can just end this now. Probably makes sense if you just close your database. And since this method needs to return a string, we're just going to return the database string. So of course, this is essentially going to loop through each row in your database. So every time we loop through a row, we just want to tack on some information on the string that we're going to return, because the string that we return is going to be printed out right here. So again, I know this is a real quick one too, but this is kind of like extra bonus stuff for your tutorial. So in order to add stuff onto the string, plus equals C, the cursor get string, and this is C dot get column index product name, and then db plus equals, and I just want to bump it onto a new line. And that is because this is not a string. Alright, So in order to get, let's say we had three different products. So we would have three different rows. Each of those products would have an ID and a name. So it would be like apples, bacon, and cats. Say that it was the weirdest store in the world. All this would do is it would loop through all the results in your table, every single product, and every time it did, it extracted the name of that product and added it to the string. And this just makes it on a new line, because if we didn't, then it would just say like apples, bacon, cats, and it would all run on one single line and it would look kind of weird. So again, this is what all this is doing. Let me clean this up a little bit, and alright, looks good to go. So now the only thing that we have left to do is we need to hop back in main activity, and we can actually delete both of these right there, and we just need to make it so the interface right here can interact with this database handler. Pretty simple. So we'll actually do that in the next tutorial.